We have returned once again to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. This time, as was last time, we are talking about 2 episodes because the time stuff comes out, and then by the time I have time to actually do a video, don't always line up correctly. But we are in luck because first episode was a recap. Oh god, anyone remembers the Vrains era would know recaps were an unfortunate side effect of that show. So seeing one again, I won't lie, still kind of haunts me. Having said that, I will say that this one was tolerable. Here's the thing. What made the Vrains ones really bad was that they were happening like every 10 episodes, and also just nothing was really going on with them. It was just stuff like the Frog and the Pigeon character, talk about the episodes, someone else talks about the episodes, someone else talks about the episodes, that's it. Here, there's at least like a thing going on, unimportant as it is. That thing is Gakudo, head of Goha's 7th, and then the other guy, head of Goha's 6th, come to chat about brainstorming ways to deal with fusion summoning. It was, of course, naturally just the 3 from each school. They would have had more people come, but, they were charging $60 to get in, and, everyone was just not about that life. Anywho, so and so then, the guy comes on, and this is why the episode's tolerable. It just immediately hits the ground running. The dude shows up, he does his crazy draw thing. I still think the pulling cards out of a tissue box is meant to be a masturbation joke, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. And then you meet his 2 people, and immediately they're funny. Like, the secretary dude who's just, annoyingly anal about everything. The cute girl, what's his name, Botan, whose shtick is she just eats insanely. Yeah, we've seen that in other shows, but they do it in a way that's funny. And I appreciated it. And Gakudo's sidekicks getting to really do something was fun. And then Roman shows up, and she's kind of fun. I actually also enjoy not having Yuga and Luke in the episode. Why? Because, well, it's different. I think the show does a great job of balancing out the 4 characters, but it's very obvious those 2 are the main members of the group. So not having them around and giving the other 2 some time to shine, I think is actually fun and unique. So, yeah, there's that. I also think it's funny, Roman just kind of flirts with the secretary, and now he's just simping the shit for her. And then at the end, Ronse, has her shtick where now she's simping him. It's just a fun, cute little recap episode. All enjoyable. I like Kaizo just being a perv for Botan and that whole thing. It's just a fun, cute little episode with personality and charm, way more than any of the Vrains ones. So, now that we're past that, we can move on to and of course they did something that played into this episode, which is Mimi was saying that their meal at the restaurant was on the house through her, but it turns out she has been demoted so badly, she even loses her, employee discount at Goha-owned restaurants. This character has fallen harder than fucking Go Onizuka, and I much prefer this to that. So so she now has to work at the library, which of course feeds into this week's episode, which has 2 plots going on. The first of which is that Yuga has given in to full-on depression and frustration, and he's sad about fusion. This is kind of fun because Yuga is never let down. He's never really overwhelmed or scared or sad or anything. Yeah, there's been a couple moments in the show where he's maybe kind of gotten worried, but you never really see him like this down and out. And it's kind of just neat to kind of see him be a little bit different. It reminds us he's human and he can feel overwhelmed at times. And so then, of course, the question is, how do we beat this guy? How do we defeat the power of fusion? What do we do? In any other Yu-Gi-Oh! Nay, in most other shows, we would have to sit through a painful several episodes while nothing happens as they just ponder the question. This is a thing in multiple Yu-Gi-Ohs, for Christ's sake. So what does Yuga decide to do? He's like, nope. He gets everyone in his weird plane and he just flies straight to the Goha base and just infiltrates, getting shit done. This is why he's the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist ever. He just fucking does whatever he's gotta do, and it's cool. So then they sneak aboard, and of course they do things like get attacked by baseballs, and then there's the puppet thing. I also like you see that the sister for the Goha group is just eating lunch with the brother and filling each other in on what's happening, and then they go back to the spaceship, and they talk to the other one. Just that idea of, like, the characters aren't abandoned, and, like, they're not just going to stop talking to their siblings, the only real people they interact with, just because they lose a duel or out of the Goha presidency or all that. It's just things like that that make them feel human and like people. So then Yuga and crew run towards and find the main Shotokan looking motherfucker. And Yuga just flat out square asks him, is fusion exclusive to you? Is polymerization a card only you own? We'll talk about that in a minute and the implications of just the idea of the dialogue scene. But then the guy just flat out says, nope, don't remember where I got it. Don't know where that person got it. Blah, blah, blah. It's a card that just exists in the world. And then we get the ultimate Yuga scene to end all Yuga scenes. Yuga just immediately becomes bright-eyed, happy, ready to go. Because if this guy was just given fusion, that means fusion is a thing in the world, which means it's a thing he can get his hands on, he can learn, he can master, he can make his own, and use it to fight the bad guys with. That is fucking awesome. He didn't need a pep talk. He wasn't moping about, like, sad for several episodes after this. It was literally all he needed to know was where he stood in terms of fusion. And he just, like, fucking went for it and now can get ready. Remember the last guy? Remember how emo he was? Remember the guy before that? Remember how there was literally an episode where when he saw other people with pendulums, he just went into this dumb depression? Like, all of the times they do this in this show, the characters just get all sad and mopey. Yuga's not that. All he just needs is that little sliver of hope, that little idea of what he can do next, and he gets over there, and it's just what makes the character so fucking awesome, and why I just freaking love this little guy. So then he passes out, because he's been worrying himself to anxiety over this, and as they run away, they are attacked by puppets. Tiger shows up, and saves the day, and everyone is free. Oh, except Kaizo, who's trapped in the Iron Maiden space. Also, I fucking love that the kid is pissed that Yuga now thinks he can get out of this. Like, the idea that the shot to this kid's ego, that he thought, finally, I broke Yuga. Everything is going according to plan. Nope, Yuga's fine. He'll beat you. And, like, the sheer idea of that pisses him off. It's awesome. And so then finally, good lord, how are we at 8 minutes? Jesus. So yeah, other quick things to cover. My issue with the polymerization thing is just like, wait, so nobody knows about fusion? You know about Dark Magician and Red Eyes and Blue Eyes. You don't know about, like, Flame Swordsman? Like, it's a problem I really need to address in its own video that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime has, saying, like, I have, like, 8 other videos that I need to get to one of these days. But yeah, it is just always kind of a problem, is what happens to summoning mechanics? What happens to cards? Like, how do kids even get these cards sometimes? But yeah, that's a discussion for another day, because we're almost out of time. And then finally, my boy Swirly, the most adorable Yu-Gi-Oh! Character ever, went and rented a deck. See, you can rent old cards! You can rent them! And, like, he just, like, goes and duels Mimi, and that's fun. Like, just set up some playmats and play Yu-Gi-Oh! And have the little fun images to go along with it. I enjoy that. And then he's just kind of like, okay, sevens, and apparently there were 7 magicians, and they went somewhere, and they did a thing, and we'll learn about it next week. They were kind of in this, they were like, learn the secret of sevens, but they didn't really get into that. There's more build up. I like the idea the summon chant is involved. I like the screaming librarian. I like Mimi with her fans. All that's just fun. But yeah, so yeah, that was this 2 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. I had more fun than I logically should, and oh god, the salt in that stupid puppet kid using the fusion. It's great. Give me your thoughts about this week's Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s in the comments section below. And as for the TCG question of the week, Dawn of Majesty is here. I think Walmart accidentally put the product out like a week early, but what matters is the cards are out. Do you care about this set? Will you be collecting it? I'm actually a big Stardust Dragon fan, so I kind of want to get that shit, and, you know, here's hoping I can pull a Stardust Dragon Prismatic. I won't. I never do. Sadness. But yeah, give me your thoughts about that below, and as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week where we learn the mystery of 7s. Hopefully, get to it, don't drag it out.